Speaking of snacks, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the Christmas trees are back. The Little Debbie Christmas trees are now in the grocery
They're the
stores again.
best.
I already bought 2 boxes.
Have you eaten both boxes?
Just one.
Just one. Okay, so you ate one, bought a new box.
No, I bought 2 at once. I knew one was not going to be enough.
You ate the box?
Yeah, the box was delicious. You haven't ever tried that? They're great. Welcome to The Gathering Greenhouse, a podcast to help us grow together. I'm Steve.
I'm very mindful and very demure. And I'm David.
I am just John.
Just John.
That's a funny first
Just
name,
John.
Just.
I'm just.
Well, welcome back to the podcast, David.
It's so good to be here.
I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah, I'm
We're going to do like an ASMR.
I'm
just the podcast.
really glad to be here.
I'm not participating in this.
I don't even.
I'm not participating.
I don't even know what ASMR is.
I don't know what it is, but it's like they talk in the microphone like this.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
I mean, if you have a nice
man.
voice and you talk quietly, it sounds good. But I don't know if you have the soft AMSR voice, David.
No, probably not. Probably not.
Are you gonna be able to pick that up, Matt? Can you do anything with that audio?
Yeah.
Okay.
Matt, that's because you're a beautiful soul, man. Just that's
Where have you
amazing.
been?
Yeah. Can you explain to us? Were you out?
are
Was
you?
the
What have
West
you done with
Coast?
David?
With the West Coast
Just
do something to you?
spreading my keys now and
I'm
You're out visiting your kids, and you've come back, and now
yeah, man. It was groovy.
What kind of shops did you like visit out there? It's a different part of the country, but
I've
You have
turned
any-
over a new leaf.
do you have
might
anything to
say.
explain?
more and a new leaf.
Well, should we talk
Let's
about
have a
some
podcast, yeah.
talk about some podcast stuff. So we're doing our More Than Able.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this. It's
Okay.
been a long time since we've had food on this podcast.
Right.
I
yeah.
actually just thought about that the other
Yeah.
day.
Are you saying that we should do that again? Is that what you're saying here?
So
We did. I would say it hasn't been that long because I did bring hot peppers on the podcast not that
I
long
said
ago.
food, not like poison.
You had an opportunity. I had an extra pepper if you wanted
Yeah.
to take part. And I actually
If
could go
that's-
get it right. I still have it in the fridge.
I was actually thinking we
I'm
should do
definitely willing to.
a segment where we just do show and tell every week, and every week someone has to bring something weird in.
Show and tell.
Show and
Show and
tell.
tell.
I brought my lunchbox. I was always jealous of the kids who had really cool lunch boxes. They'd like bring them for show and
Yeah,
tell.
but did
like-
you know what the lunch boxes even like what was on them because you weren't allowed to watch any of
What's a
those kind of things?
Transformer?
You're like,
I never had a Transformer, but I did have a GoBot.
GoBot.
so GoBots were okay, but Transformers were not.
I think they were just cheaper.
Okay, that makes a whole lot more
think
sense.
they're just
I think I had the same thing growing up. I did
Yeah,
not have a
I
Transformer.
don't think
did
there
not
was
have a
anything
lunchbox.
inherently evil about Transformers.
So, speaking of snacks, I don't know if you guys noticed, but the Christmas trees are back. The Little Debbie Christmas trees are now in the grocery
They're the
stores again.
best.
I already bought 2 boxes. of
Have you
them.
eaten both boxes?
Just one.
Just one. Okay, so you ate one, bought a new box.
No, I bought 2 at once. I knew one was not going to be enough.
You ate the box?
Yeah, the box was delicious. You haven't ever tried that? They're great.
I used to tell
confused
people
here.
the wrapper on gum was edible because like one of them makes the paper out of like rice, so it is edible. I can't remember what gum
Fruit
it is.
Stripes.
I don't remember which, but most of the gums have the
Yeah.
metal, like.
Yeah.
I think it's a Fruit Stripes one.
And I love telling
supposedly.
people like this is edible, and then also this one is also edible, and it was never.
So that they would eat it.
They would try to eat like the metal shiny one.
And then they would alert in TSA every time they go through. 'cause they got- Yeah.
Do you used to like tape them and like fold them up over your teeth like aluminum foil?
No. And I don't not like the taste of that stuff in my mouth.
Act like a
the
gangster.
metally type of taste. No.
You should.
No.
No.
I did whatever the wrapper was. Maybe it was like Trident. I don't know. It was one of them. I did try to eat that.
I think it's Trident.
because someone said that to me.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Was not edible to me. It did not
Trident
taste.
wrappers Oh, wait.
I feel like it was something that just went around.
Yeah.
And it wasn't actually true.
So you tried it?
Yeah, this was like a long time ago though. I was still in school.
If everybody
mean,
was jumping off a cliff, would you try that?
Let's just.
If there was water underneath, yeah, I've
Here's
done
the
that
problem
before.
with saying things aren't edible is you're actually lying. All things are edible if you try hard enough.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think that's true either.
Is this trophy edible?
Sure. just bite the trophy.
Well, should we talk
gonna
about?
do it.
Should we move along
So
here? Is it okay if I move along?
I saw a video.
Okay,
on
no,
the
it's
news
not.
This morning
Yeah.
where they were.
What news were you listening to?
No, I was watching. It was. I don't know if it was.
Sky,
No, it was local. I only watch local. news.
Dayton, Cincinnati.
Yeah, Dayton.
Okay.
But it was a Cincinnati story because they were feeding pumpkins to the hippos
Yeah.
in the Cincinnati
That sounds
Zoo.
awesome.
It is. It's really
'Cause they
cool
could just-
because that's what they do. Because they don't really have teeth that are sharp. They just kind of open their mouth and they just like
Like
crush.
hungry hippos.
Yeah, it's exactly like that with pumpkins.
you watch
One of the
those-
most accurate games.
There's all those videos where they have like the press, like the like super high powerful
Yes.
industrial, and they'll just put random objects until
Oh yeah,
they
I love those
explode.
videos.
It's like a hippo. but,
That's
like,
exactly like a
it's so
hippo.
satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. I always tell my kids that hippos are amphibians. They get really upset about that. I'm like, because
Do you
I mean,
think
in
anybody
a
has
sense-
a hippo as a pet?
I don't know, but they live in the water
zoo.
and they live on land,
Well,
right?
that's not really a pet.
So one time, Becca and I went. Becca loves zoos, and so when we were dating, that's like all of our dates. We would go to all the different zoos, and we took a picture one time.
Like how many zoos are you talking here?
We would go to like Cincinnati, Columbus, Indianapolis, and just do the loop.
Okay.
We when we went to Missouri to.
Did you ever go to Toledo?
No,
I've actually got a really good zoo
They
there.
do.
I've only been to Toledo one time, but it was great.
Does Cleveland have a zoo?
Yeah, they have a
good.
rainforest section also.
So we
Yeah.
posted this picture, and a girl commented on it. She's like, "Oh, cute pic. Have fun at the animal jail."
She's not, totally wrong.
I
on that.
do like.
I would rather be in the zoo than
Well,
real
here,
jail.
but here's the thing: is that some of them are endangered. Okay, so which means like they could just be totally gone. So we probably should cage up a few of those, just so we can
Well,
keep
my
those
thought, too,
species
is, like,
around.
To what end, though?
I agree. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'd rather look at a live
I don't
one than look at
disagree-
a dead
like,
one.
I love zoos. I
Yeah.
love going to the animal jail. But
Yeah.
I've hit that age in life where sometimes I stand there and start to tear up a little bit because I feel for the
Pays-
animals.
I feel for
Especially the
animals.
cats. Do not go in if you don't like that. Don't go in the cat section.
I don't care
of
about
the,
them.
of the zoo.
I have been to zoos that
Cincinnati
have
Zoo.
taken so poor care of their animals that it made
Yeah.
like. So if you, I've heard it's gotten a lot better, but
Do you
Becca
want
and
to
I-
name names here?
The Columbus Zoo.
Okay.
We went there. This was, I mean, like 7-8 years ago, and
that
I
was a
remember
good-
thinking all
good
the
zoo.
animals looked so skinny and so sick, and I was like, we're never coming back here.
Mm-hmm.
The Cincinnati Zoo, I think, does all the animals always look really healthy, and so
Yeah. What are the big birds? Do they have eagles there?
Yeah.
Is that what they have?
Which
I
zoo
hate
you're talking
birds.
about? Columbus or
Cincinnati.
Cincinnati.
They got
Cincinnati
eagles.
definitely has eagles. Yeah.
I feel really bad there.
Well,
I'm
so-
like, these magnificent
in.
creatures.
Here's the
can't
thing
fly.
about that is
He's
it.
gonna justify it.
Well, some of those. I know a lot of the eagles that show up at zoos. They were injured in some way in the wild, and they can't be re-released in the wild because they're just going to die. So that's how a lot of the zoos
They
end
what,
up with
injured by a trank dart or
something like that.
Captured.
Yeah.
So-
they're-
So they might not be able to fly
Here's
anyway.
the other thing
I
about
still feel bad for them.
Animal jail.
but it's better than.
It's like I feel bad for them because they're so eagles are so magnificent.
I'm a
when they
peacock.
fly.
You gotta
Tame
let
them,
me
yeah.
fly.
You've tamed them.
Here's what I want to say to the people who are against animal jails. Would you rather me just let the bear loose in the park?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Well, I like how they talk about, they'll talk about, helping the animals out while they cage them. And you're just like, how do these two things
You know what we should do actually
go together?
is like one day a week they should just let the animals run, but not tell the public what day it's going to be.
That'd be awesome.
Like at noon on one day, all the animals get rid of this.
Just like a horn
I
blows.
don't know about this. This sounds like a really bad idea.
This would be awesome.
Bad idea.
Because you got to think who's at the zoo at 10 a.m. right at the zoo. It's a bunch of moms with like double strollers and all their
Yeah.
kids. And you just see them running, and a
So,
giant bear.
There are zoos that exist where you can their animals are roaming, like the drive-through zoos.
Those are cool.
Yes, we just did that recently.
I was
Where'd you
really
get-
inspired by
where'd you do
Tiger King.
Up in Sandusky. We went up to Sandusky.
Great movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
show.
Okay, can we talk about something?
Yeah, something.
You know, some actual content.
Sure.
That's been good.
Are there
So
leopards at the Cincinnati Zoo? No, I'm just kidding. Go on.
Yes.
Go on.
I was just there.
okay. So we just started a campaign, right? We're calling it a campaign. Is that
Well,
the
you know, we kind of interspersed campaign and series.
series?
I would
Okay,
call it a
that was the only
crusade.
other thing I could think. A crusade? No, it's mostly referred to as a campaign. Do you like that word?
No.
Campaign? Yeah.
So for two reasons. One is because it carries a little extra baggage this time of year.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
In an election season, but also, I don't know. It feels inorganic.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
It's one of those hard things where people, when you say it's things like capital campaign, people know what you're talking about because that's a normal thing.
Yeah.
But in our culture, our vernacular, like it feels very
Right.
not us.
So yeah, I guess part of it would be that, like, if we were saying this is a campaign because we want to help everybody grow spiritually, if that was the only end result, I'd probably be a lot more excited about that. But when it feels, and this isn't actually true, but it feels this way.
Yeah.
It feels like we're asking people for something. But maybe we'll talk about that more.
But
later.
I think that's okay, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
Otherwise
it's
we
okay.
wouldn't do it.
Right, but we don't really ask people for much that doesn't help them directly as much as sometimes it feels like, well, we're trying to accomplish something as a church, so we do have to ask people, but since we don't do that very often, we are always saying we trust that God will provide.
Right.
And he's given us everything that we
Yeah.
need. So it
Well,
feels a shift.
So it does, and it's probably worth saying that if it's true
Yeah.
that being sacrificial is good for you, and if it's true that it's better to focus on storing up heavenly treasures versus earthly treasures, which is what Jesus said, if those things are both true, then we're actually unloving if we don't challenge people to do those things.
Yeah.
Right. And so there is a sense in which this is one of those things that it's like, yeah, I know this isn't the message everybody wants to hear all the time.
Yeah.
But if we don't tell them this sometimes, that we're not actually being loving.
Right. And we need to be the ones who are organized, and it takes a lot of organization to be able to move in the direction we need to go. So I have a few questions along the lines of the series campaign that we have going on. So why are we renovating our building?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so at the basis of it, if we're making more room, like why?
Well, I need a much bigger office. I think that's the first. No? Is that not in the plans?
Where's your office again?
Wherever I want it.
So just for context here, right now we are sitting in what is considered the studio of the church,
Yeah.
which used to be my office, and I got kicked out of here so that we could have a studio.
You're actually sitting about where you used to sit at your
pretty
desk.
close, pretty
your
close
desk
to
is
where my
right
desk
there.
was, yeah. And I got moved into a room that had been a closet, and
Yeah.
that became my office for a period of time. And now I don't even have an office anymore.
Yep.
I have to work with, out with you hooligans in the main office space.
Now you know how it feels to have to work
I am the
out with the
captain now.
hooligans.
Yeah. So when John says he needs a bigger office, that gives
an
me
inside
an
joke.
opportunity to pause and contemplate some things. What was the question?
The question is why? Why are we
doing this?
renovating our building?
Not so that John can have more office
Okay.
space, right? So, on a big picture, like
Yeah.
purpose reason is we think that we have a great message. Like, we think that the message we have is the best message anybody can ever hear, which is that God loves them and Jesus died for them and they can have eternal life. We think that's the greatest message anybody can ever hear. And because we think that's the greatest message, we want as many people as possible to hear that message and to experience the life-changing power of a relationship with Jesus. And if we truly believe that we want as many people as possible to hear that, then we have to look at what we're doing and how we're doing it and realize we actually don't have room anymore for more people to come and hear that message.
Yeah.
And so we want to make more room so that more people of all ages. So our kids are out of space, and there are Sunday mornings when our kids area is super chaotic and super crowded. and that's a distraction, and it means that we can't be as effective in helping our kids learn to know Jesus, love Jesus, and follow Jesus. And so we need more space so that we can be more effective and so that more kids can hear that message. Our students are out of space, and we need more space for our students, because one of our big goals as a church is to equip our students so that when they leave our church, which they will, they won't leave the faith. And so that's huge for us, but our students are out of space. We need more space for our students. On Sunday mornings, in at least one of our services, most Sundays, we're close to out of space. Sometimes it's two of our services, and we need more space for more people to be able to be part of our Sunday morning services. And so, the solution for now is for us to add a little bit of space to give us some breathing room as we figure out what the long term looks like.
Right. Okay. So we're renovating because there's a clear need, right?
Yes.
There is a clear need, and that need also represents telling more people about Jesus.
Correct. Yep.
and equipping our kids to better know and live out their faith.
Right. Yeah, this is a need that is rooted in our deepest purpose. This is not us, hey, we want to have a gymnasium so we can play pickleball.
Yeah.
Which would be awesome.
Right.
But
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to donate
A pickleball court?
pickleball court.
arena, that would be pretty awesome.
Yeah, I think there's one
In
around
addition,
I think there's a
to what we're
pickleball
trying to do
arena
right now.
around the corner now.
Is it really?
I think right over somebody built one at another church.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, so I don't think that anyone is against having more room, right? But then the next question that comes, like, yeah, that's great. We'd love that. But how much is it going to cost, right? That's the question that comes of like, hey, have we, thought it all the way through? Do we know how much it's going to cost? Is that going to be enough for us? Is that too much? All those questions kind of come up. So how would you respond to that?
Well, it's going to cost a lot more than I want it to.
Yeah, it always is.
Yeah. Unfortunately, construction's expensive.
Yeah.
And it's become more expensive in recent days for a variety of reasons. One of those is a good thing. There's a boom in construction in Ohio because there's a lot of big-time companies moving in, and that's going to be good for everybody. More jobs. It should help the economy, but it means that building things is more expensive.
Yes.
But also it's more expensive because of, inflation. And materials are more expensive. You have to pay workers more. And so, what we're looking at, a project that probably, 10 years ago would have cost a lot less.
Yes.
Is going to cost us between $2 and $2.5 million.
Right. Probably half that price, right? 10 years
potentially.
ago.
Yeah.
Half that price.
Potentially,
I mean, the whole building that we currently have, we only paid, what, $2 million?
I think it was more than that.
More than that. But I mean, considering what we're getting.
I think
for
if you add up everything, it was more than that, like the
land and
all that.
demolition and stuff.
But also, this building was built almost all by volunteers, and we're not going to do that again.
If we have the ability to do it with people who know what they're doing. Yeah, so that's not that the volunteers didn't, but
No, I think they would all say they didn't know what they were doing.
knew what they were doing.
They had a few people who did that kind of gave instructions and
Yeah.
gave directions. So
Yeah.
I mean, and it's still standing.
Yeah.
So
this new section that we're building, right? We're adding on and we're expanding. We're expanding and adding on. So there's a cost to it. You said around 2 to 2.5 is where we're projecting. You said that on Sunday.
Yep.
Can we afford that?
So yes.
Yeah.
Right. And whether or not you can afford something, there's a lot of different ways to measure that. Right. One of the questions would be, does the bank think we can afford it?
Right.
Like if you go out and you buy a house, you can't get a loan if the bank doesn't think you can afford it. And does the bank think the bank thinks we can afford it? And of course, they base that on a lot of factors. How much giving do we have on a regular basis?
Yeah.
How much money do we have? Cash in hand. Our current practices, good practices. Is the church growing? All those kinds of things. And we measure up really well on all of those factors. And so they would say yes. Now, having said that, it's my desire that we don't add a single cent of debt in order to do this. And so, while we could probably just say, let's just take on debt and build this thing, I absolutely do not want to do that. So I hope that we can actually raise this money. And I think that we can.
Yeah.
I don't know that for sure.
So would you say we're trusting that we can, or would you?
Sure, I think.
Yeah. How would you phrase
Yeah,
it?
I would say this is one of those situations where we're trusting and we have faith that this is possible, but it's not foolish, mindless, wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Like, we've actually counted the cost,
Yeah.
and we're being good stewards of what we already have.
Yeah.
But we also recognize that if God doesn't step in and do some things that this can't happen fully by fundraising, but we also recognize that He absolutely can do that.
Right. So we're not only think that we can do it, right? We're trusting, and we're saying, hey, we're also stepping out on faith a little bit and saying, hey, God, we're going to dream a little bit big,
Yes.
But within reason, we don't want to, like you said, we're very much against having a lot of debt.
And one of the pieces of this whole conversation was when we started looking at all the. I mean, this has been over a year that we've haven't had these conversations. We went from getting suggested that we build like a $9 million thing to a $5 million thing to a $3 million thing down to a $2 to $2.5 million thing, because understanding that yes, we could go take on debt, and God may blow us away and say, hey, here's an outrageous amount of money that I want you guys to use for the kingdom in this way. Right. But also we need to be good stewards of what He has given us, and recognizing that, we're not just going to go build a flashy several $1 million building.
Yeah.
We're going to do what we think God's calling us to do in this season at this step. And it's actually more moderate than what a lot of people would have told us to do.
Yeah.
And I think that's
so why not go bigger?
We don't need to.
Yeah. I think that's a great answer.
Yeah. I mean, we're building what we absolutely have to build right now.
Yeah.
And we're not about buildings.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just not who we are. We're about people.
I don't think there's anybody at our church who's here because of the carpet. It's just not true.
Yeah.
We're the red striped tan building that people drive by, and it's not about that.
The old roller skating rink.
Nobody drives by.
It doesn't
and
look
says,
like it's your.
and says, "Oh man, I got to visit that place."
Yeah.
And nobody walks in the front door and says, "Wow, they really spent a lot of money here."
They may now though. Those new doors are pretty.
They do.
The new doors are pretty nice.
Pretty happy with those. But yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things I love about our church is that our church. Pastors say this all the time: the church isn't the building; it's the people. But like here, I truly believe that, because if our church was the building, like that would not be awesome.
We'd have a lot of problems. If our church was the building, we'd have an awesome office.
Yeah,
for the lead pastor.
Well, we still could. We can still do that. There's
We
time.
did once. When I got here, I told some funny stories on Sunday about my first 2 days here, right? The funny thing is, the other side of that is, when I first got here, I had an office that's like 3 times the size of what my office in my old church was.
Also, the furniture was nice in it.
The furniture was super
except
nice.
The couch looked like a grandma's couch.
It's a corner office, so you got windows on 2 sides, and
your own restroom.
And there's another room that's like the study.
Yeah.
And there was my own restroom.
It was a suite. You had a suite. It was pretty.
Yeah, I mean, I could have lived here.
It's a suite studio.
But where would you cook your food?
We could have just gotten like a hot
Skillet.
pot or something. Yeah.
Crock pot? You just
I do
multiple
love
crock pots around.
Pots. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, so yeah, 2.5, and I think we can afford it. And I think I'll tell you what I'd really like to happen. And this is what I'm praying for.
Yeah.
All right, is that even though we're not going to ask for this much money ever, I'm praying that we raise $4 million, and here's why.
Yeah.
For $4 million, we can build this building, and we can pay off all the debt that we have, and we could 3 years from now have the space that we need, be debt-free, and really be ready to launch into the next chapter of the Gathering's history. So $4 million is the number I would love to see happen. We're not ever going to ask for that and publicize that, but that would be awesome.
Yeah.
We're not going to ask you, but if you feel led at this moment.
So seriously, though, if you have $4 million and you're watching right now, Elon, I'm talking to you. We could use it.
It's got way more than
Dude
$4
is
million.
giving away $1 million
a
a day.
For the next
Why are
20
we not
days or whatever.
contacting him?
That's actually.
I don't know.
I mean, like
It sounds like something Ron could do. Perfect. That he's a
we gotta get
finance.
Ron on X.
Get him on X and post some videos.
Yeah.
So
It's the image of Ron tweeting.
tweeting to
But not knowing it's Creed when he got his website, his blog, and he's just a Word
Just
document.
a Word document.
Love you, Ron.
yeah.
He's not going to watch.
You can't find it.
Next question.
Next question. Well, I think the question inside of that here is, like what? So let's say we got the $4 million in 3 years, right? And we're saying 3 years because people are committing to 3 years for this capital campaign that we're doing. We're saying it's a 3-year commitment. But let's say that we actually got to $4 million, we're debt free. How does that actually help us to do ministry? Like, in what ways does that free us up? In what ways does that set us up for the future? Like, why would being debt free, how could that help us to be more effective?
Okay.
I would just say, like, a lot of us, you actually know this because you have a mortgage on a house.
Yeah.
And so just imagine what your budget would look like if you weren't having to make that monthly payment on your mortgage. It's the same reality for a church, right? If that owes on its building, we have X amount of dollars every month that goes towards paying off the debt.
Yeah.
And so what could we do if that money was now reinvested in ministry? What staff positions does it look like? What programs could we do and things like that?
What outreach could we do?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the super tangible place is to say, right now we give away $1,500 a month. We just give it away. And if we weren't, paying that monthly pay, that number would go up significantly to say, this is what we would reinvest into our community. Some of the things that we're doing in schools, we would be able to do more of that kind of thing. And so, yeah, I think there's just a lot. We would put that money towards what we value, because I think we do a good job of that right now. Is we really do put money towards what we value, and we'd be able to do more of that.
Okay. And I mean, ultimately, we could be more effective because we wouldn't have that monthly bill that we have to do till it's all paid off. So, okay. Next question here is: so people have now got the Vision Sunday, where we started talking about the More Than Able series, and then the More Than Able series is coming up starting next week. We're going to get into the content of it, right? This was setting up the More Than Able. It wasn't a normal traditional Sunday, right? So if people have questions about, specifically about the More Than Able building project, how would they get those answered?
Yeah, great. So they'll have opportunities throughout this series to have some Q&A times, that kind of thing. But one of the things that I'm going to do is...
Like on a Sunday or another platform?
We'll be announcing those.
Okay.
So when they can do that.
Okay.
But one of the things that I'm going to do is on this upcoming Sunday, so that would be the 27th. Sunday night, we're having a bonfire.
Yep.
And I'm going to make myself available at the bonfire really specifically for questions about the building project and about the More Than Able series. So if anybody is has questions, come out to the bonfire, hang out. I'll be available to answer questions. Maybe some other people will be available as well. But that's the next opportunity people are going to have to ask and get some questions answered. But there will be other chances. Yeah. There'll be some focus groups, some other things like that as we go.
Okay. So that might be an opportunity, like, could we say, like, our normal means of asking questions, generally the connection card.
Sure.
If someone writes something on the connection card, would they get a response from someone about it? Okay. So that's another
absolutely
option as well. If you have a, specific question you want to answer, but if you'd rather have a conversation, which I think is oftentimes more helpful with things like this versus just being able to pose one question. And so, there'll be plenty of opportunities to talk to someone and get those questions answered. So if you can wait for some of those things, it might be your best option, right?
Correct. Yep.
Okay. So you also talked about on Sunday, Commitment Sunday coming up, right?
Yep.
And one of the things you said is commit to committing to something, right?
Yeah.
Because you haven't really let people in on what exactly Commitment Sunday is. So here's the question: what is Commitment Sunday?
Yeah. Well, Commitment Sunday, it's November 24th, and it's going to be an opportunity for all of us to basically say, hey, this is what I think I can give towards this project.
Yeah.
And over the next 3 years, I want to give above and beyond what I've been giving. And I believe that I can do this because I believe that God's going to provide for me. And so that's what Commitment Sunday is. It's a chance for us to do that. And right now, I don't want anybody to be thinking, well, here's my number.
Yeah.
Because we're not ready for that. I want people to take the time right now and lean into the process. And over the next several weeks, we're going to, like I said in the sermon on Sunday, we're going to seek the heart of God. We're going to seek the wisdom of God. We're going to seek the will of God. And I want us to do that as a church. I want us to do that as individuals. And then when the 24th of November comes, that will be our chance to say, okay, yeah, I've been praying about this. I've been, talking about this to some of my friends, with my spouse, and now here's what I think we can give to this project. And everybody's going to have that opportunity to do that.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
Great. Anything else you want to cover on this More Than Able series?
Yeah. Let me repeat the three commitments we
great.
talked about yesterday.
That's great.
So yesterday we said there's three things everybody can do right now. One of those is to think.
Yeah.
Right? Think about what is God doing in my life right now, so that He can do something through my life. Right? Because when God works on us and in us, it's because He wants to do something through us. So ask yourself the simple question: what is God doing in me right now? Second is we can all be praying. We should be praying for this series. We should be praying for ourselves. And I said yesterday, pray that God will bless you. And that sounds like a selfish prayer to pray, but it's not, because when we see God blessing us, that builds our faith, it builds our trust, it builds our confidence, and it allows us to live more confidently for Him. So pray that you'll experience and see and recognize God's blessings in your life. And then the third thing is join a group. So if you're not in a group already, jump into a group, and we'll make this easy. We're going to try to do open groups Monday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, and we're looking at possibly doing a morning group sometime during the week. Mm-hmm. If you'd like to get into one of those groups, leave us a comment here, and we'll actually connect with you and get you into one of those groups. So.
Okay. Great. Well, thanks for summing that up. If someone wasn't here this last Sunday, the Vision Sunday, where we put the cards on the seats where they could, they could be praying about things, right? Will those be available
I think
other
so.
weeks? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, if there's any left. I'm assuming there's some left.
I believe that there's some left. So
yeah. Yep.
where might they get that kind of content?
Somewhere around here.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just ask.
Just ask.
Just ask. Okay.
We can probably make a digital version of them, can't we?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll post it on Facebook or something.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, I have been working on a signing off here, so I'm gonna try like a
Oh wow.
podcast sign, like a closing
It would
podcast.
have been really funny if Matt just ended it right there. I've been trying.
I've been trying. Eek. Okay, so
have you
I have
practiced this.
I'm practicing it right now. I'm just wanting to get your guys' feedback here on this.
All right.
Okay. This one is a little bit.
Are you? So just to be clear.
Yeah.
You're gonna sign off.
Right.
And then we're gonna give feedback.
Well, yeah, sure.
Is the feedback part of the podcast?
It can be. Yeah.
This is gonna be great.
I love this.
We have the ability. We have the ability to just end it at that. Like, if
right.
I nail it and you guys are like, that was amazing, and then Matt can just, or whoever,
Okay.
John.
Let's
okay.
see it.
This one's a little bit punny. Okay. Pun intended
we'll see.
here.
All right.
Okay. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Greenhouse Podcast. So let's keep it real, keep it rooted, and we'll catch you next time.
No.
Until then, have an awesome week.
Did ChatGPT write these?
No.
No.
All right.
No. Try again.
Okay, you want another one? Okay. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Greenhouse Podcast. Remember, growth takes time, and we're all in this together.
No. What does that even mean, though, that we're all in this together?
It means
I actually
because of the what you tell me here.
Okay.
What do we say when we start it every time?
place to grow together.
Place to grow
So
together.
then how is that ties
So
in with
here's
it?
my issue.
We're all okay.
This isn't about you.
Okay.
But my issue with that phrase is it harkens back to COVID.
That's literally what my brother
right.
was like,
Everybody
I'm so
was
turned
saying,
off
"Yeah,
to that.
we're all in this together."
We're
don't
all
think
in
we
this
were.
together. Let's go back to the COVID times.
that's
I think
exactly
everyone,
right. We were
I think
all
everyone looks
together.
fondly back at that time, right? Right?
Let's talk about the most controversial thing you said yesterday in your sermon.
What that
The
COVID was one
good
of,
for our church.
COVID was one of the best things that ever happened to the gathering.
You said it.
Was I wrong?
As my son Cade.
It was great.
he
I
likes
say that all the
say.
time.
You said
Do you believe that, right?
I absolutely believe that.
All right.
I do not disagree at all.
Yeah. All right.
I think it was.
For context, watch the sermon.
Watch the sermon. Okay.
All right.
You want another one?
Yeah, let's get
I have a
another
third
one.
one. This is the one I I don't know. I didn't like this one, but
I'm actually back to thinking the rooted one was the better of the first
okay,
two,
good,
so,
good.
Yeah,
Okay. I think I could tweak it, but thanks for hanging out with us on the Greenhouse Podcast. We hope you're feeling encouraged and you're ready to keep growing together.
It's just too much.
Yeah, no.
I got it.
Okay, you got
really
one.
wordy.
Go ahead, throw one
Thanks
out
for
there.
watching. Bye.
I mean,
I think we're done.
there you go.
Right.